science fiction television programs of the 1990s. We're going to talk about those.
Man Up with Mark. Mark talks about everything under the sun. You may agree with him, and again, you may not.
So, the 1990s for me was kind of a busy decade. Didn't do a lot of TV watching in that decade. Very little. Kids were growing up, turning into young little monsters and older little monsters. Work was keeping me very busy. Life in general was busy. You had a social life and you had, the family life. And, when it came to watching sci-fi, it's kind of limited for me. There were 3 programs that I did, make a hard and strong effort to always try to watch them. And the first one was The X-Files. Yeah, Scully and Mulder. Come on. Just the romantic tension alone, kept you going with that series. But the premise was cool. I don't know if FBI really had a division called the X-Files. I don't think so. My dad was in the FBI. I don't remember him talking about any division such as the X-Files. Could have been, but I don't know. But it was a neat program. It delved into a lot of different arenas when it comes to science fiction. The main story is based on Mulder, who is fanatically involved in aliens because he thinks that the aliens abducted his sister years before. So, among his other problems with the FBI and his personal life, he gets shoved into this, obscure little part of the FBI that they called the X-Files. And what he discovers, and with his investigations and with meeting Scully, it just made for a neat program that was fun to watch. And just the theme song alone would get you going. You hear that tone and you knew it was the X-Files. And their future movies that they put out about the X-Files, they were cool movies also. They were fun to watch. But the X-Files was a program that I always made sure I caught. This next one is kind of a throwback. The Outer Limits.
Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are now controlling the transmission. We control the horizontal and the vertical. We can deluge you with 1,000 channels or expand one single image to crystal clarity and beyond. We can shape your vision to anything our imagination can conceive. We will control all that you see and hear. experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the deepest inner mind to the outer limits.
Yeah, The Outer Limits, it originated back in the 60s. It only lasted 2 seasons back in the 60s. When it was reinvented in the 90s, I think it lasted about 7 seasons. Yeah, it held on a little bit better. Again, better storylines, better filming, better videography as the years have progressed. Just looked neater. The beginning of it is very, very similar to the 1960s intro, but they added a couple little different lines in there to make it unique. But I watched The Outer Limits as much as I could. I guess only because I remember The Outer Limits with my brothers back in the 60s. So it was nostalgia. I liked it. And the third one, I only had 3 during the 90s that I really watched. Again, I was a busy boy. But the third one was Stargate SG-1.
I'm under orders to bring you to see General Hammond, sir. He says it's important. Has to do with the Stargate.
Colonel O'Neill, your team will be designated SG-1. Its duties will be to perform reconnaissance, determine threats, and if possible, to make peaceful contact with the peoples of these worlds. They will be our ambassadors, meeting other races, establishing ties with other worlds.
You know the enemy. You know the risks.
The SGC may be the single most important human endeavor for the future of mankind.
Actually, the Goa'uld want to see you dead as much as anyone. Figuring out the Stargate.
Doesn't make me feel any better.
SG-1 is a valuable asset, but there's still just one team.
Wow. Our core mission is to go through that gate and find technologies we can use to defend against Goa'uld incursion. And when the Goa'uld wipe us out because we have nothing with which to defend ourselves, I'm sure we'll all feel great about ourselves and our high morals.
You just killed 2 of my men and screwed your whole planet.
And no matter what anyone says, the people at the SGC have done the best job anyone could under the circumstances.
All batteries, open fire.
Strike me down.
Mach 4-2.
Yeah, I enjoyed this series also. Yeah, mainly because it was derived from the movie Stargate. I love that movie. In fact, I think it was one of my top 10 movies back in my science fiction movie category. And I think that Stargate movie was also in the 90s. I think it was earlier in the 90s. Because Stargate SG-1 started in 97. It was very similar to the premise of the movie when it started. It kind of jumped the shark as the seasons wore on. I think it lasted, 10 seasons. In fact, all 3 of these programs that I watched during the 90s lasted a long time, 9 or 10 seasons. They all lasted into the 2000s. So, yeah, they were good, steady programs. Stargate, again, was fun to watch. It had some good storylines. It was always neat to go through the gate and end up on another planet somewhere and in another time, and, you know, all of the troubles and tribulations that they had. Again, I think as the seasons wore on, it did kind of jump the shark with, getting involved with aliens that were going to take over the world, and it did get into a more Star Trek, Star Wars, Galactica type of feel in the late seasons. But they were still fun to watch, and, you know, by the time the 2000s rolled around, my kids had grown up, and I had gotten into a new life, and I was getting more involved in science fiction, which you will find out when I start talking about sci-fi programs of the 2000s. Yeah, I got into a lot of them. I think it had a lot to do with more cable channels, more streaming channels, just more ways to watch TV. So, let me know what you thought of this. I know I only mentioned 3 in this episode. I know that there was more science fiction programs in the 90s. Let me know which ones I missed. Send me a comment. And I'm going to do a change-up at the ending here. I'm going to say, right now, like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Also, you can always email me at mark@manupwithmark.com. And please, see, this is where the switch came. I brought this at the end. Please, if you would, donate to my Patreon. That Patreon address is patreon.com/manupwithmark. Okay? Till tomorrow. See ya.
If you have a question or comment, email Mark at manupwithmark.com.